Let's talk about the different ways that the overcomplex and dumb AIs that run the internet are not only unable to be properly controlled and understood, but they can also gaslight you, read your mind, and sometimes even control it, just by helping you browse YouTube. Most of the platforms that you use are controlled by black box programs, and most of them are machine learning based algorithms, YouTube included. Ignoring all the unnecessary stuff, the algorithm functions like a magical box that can learn from users interacting with the platform and then use that information to match users with something, be it content, ads, mind control outlets, rage machines, memes, more data, or whatever else needs to be matched to you. They collect data, lots and lots of data, that can be used to identify differences between the content units that they serve and how those differences affect the user habits on the platforms. They can use the magical powers of math so the machine can learn what to show who, and for the most part the people and algorithms responsible for managing these systems have no idea what the system has learned and how it performs the task, which created a whole field of AI research just for machine learning model analysis. But to keep it simple for this video, I'm going to just use Google products for the examples. This is primarily because it simplifies the scope a bit, but also because you are using quite a few of them by watching this video alone. I also chose to stick to one platform holder so that I can reasonably rule out the biases that the platform holds as being a notable influence in this analysis. See Mr. Sweet's video on how the internet gaslights you. That totally didn't inspire the creation of this video or anything, baka. Search engines like Google use algorithms to serve web links, AdSense serves you ads, and YouTube serves you videos. They all use some form of machine learning algorithm to accomplish this goal, and they all work together to provide the most engaging experience for each of their products simultaneously, while also collecting as much data as they can, to better connect users to the content that they serve. But in order to effectively do this, it basically has to read your mind from the other side of the world. If you've heard the story about the man who complained about receiving pregnancy coupons for his daughter from an algorithm that predicted she was pregnant before he knew about it, then later on, the man returned to apologize when the girl came forward. Yeah, that's the old version of this algorithm from like 15 years ago or something. The new one is significantly better cause now it's been spending those years collecting terabytes of data from everywhere it can, to compare you against. Most companies that offer a service, especially a free one, will collect data on the users that use that service in some way. Then that data can be used to build a profile on you containing all the interactions that you had with the software. The algorithm then learns from that data to classify you into different groups, which can include the things that you like and dislike, whether or not you are pregnant, or into some weird stuff, or want to do illegal stuff, and the very most importantly to them, what you will buy and for how much. The issue is that in today's age those profiles are occasionally better at predicting your behavior than even you are, and they can basically read your mind to the point where your species has developed wives' tales to explain creepy incidents. You know that thing where you are talking about something and then you start getting ads about it. As cool as it would be if your devices were constantly sending data back to the server about what you are talking about, that couldn't be what is happening. Think about how slow the internet would be if every device was sending that amount of data all the time, or how slow the device would be on top of planned obsolescence if it was always running secret programs too, or the terabytes of data per second being flooded to the servers that would basically DOS themselves. Or more critically, the potential class action privacy lawsuit to device manufacturers if it were ever uncovered to be true that it was secretly allowing companies to send mass amounts of private user data, like mic audio, over the internet. Not that it can't secretly spy on you from time to time, even I can do that, just that all of them aren't doing that to everyone all the time. It's just not practical in this age of internet speeds. But instead the scarier and more truthful reality is that the computer on the other side of the world is reading your mind just by looking at you and your casual viewing habits. But this surprisingly has an even darker side, as it can actually be used to gaslight you in self-perpetual echo chambers, or if used maliciously, it can even be used to, and is often used, to control your mind. There are lots of ways that the AIs we've discussed can, and often do, influence you and your decisions, impulses, and thoughts, but to save me a ton of time, I'm going to freeboot Mr. Sweet's content and invite him to collab so it doesn't look like I'm cheating. But in his video on how how the internet gaslights you, he covers several ways that the internet that you interact with might not be the exact same as the internet that other people interact with.
I think we all like to feel right? And luckily, our subconscious helps us feel right as often as possible through something called confirmation bias. Basically, this just means that we interpret information as evidence that what we believe is true. For example, whenever I walk into a room, people are always staring at me. Now, I think I'm a pretty handsome guy, so I interpret them looking at me as evidence of that. But when I tell my friend that people are always looking at me, he thinks it's because I'm ugly. Also, my friend is blind. So as you can see, unlike my friend, from the same evidence, different conclusions are made based on different people's biases. After doing a number of tests, I found that depending on what search engine you use, you will receive different results. Google may say to drink a little alcohol while you're pregnant. Meanwhile, DuckDuckGo will tell you alcohol is deadly to your developing baby. And for this reason, you really need to watch out for how you let the algorithms play you. And make sure you do some thorough research before drawing conclusions.
And because of AI, it's becoming more individualized and hyper-focused on your specific personal beliefs.
What do I mean by all this? Well, basically, what we see is algorithmically catered to us, our senses of humor, what we think is attractive, what we agree with politically and religiously. Meanwhile, the people we disagree with are constantly being made fun of in our own social media experience. This is most often done through memes, probably because it's one of the quickest, most effective ways to devalue any opinion. Once you get people laughing at something, it no longer feels like a legitimate argument in our mind, it's just a meme now.
It's morbing time.
Here's the thing though, there are people using the exact same internet, the exact same social media platforms, and they're getting the exact opposite posts. In their world, you're the weirdo. You're the one who just needs to educate themselves. You are the meme.
Anyway, because of this gaslighting, content-serving AI is able to influence you to be a part of the trends currently underway, and the ones that it has yet to amplify. I am truly full of awe. It is awful that you humans just invent myths rather than face that scarier truth that it knows too much about you. But there are worse effects, because everyone is always trying to meet the expectations of the algorithm. Eventually the content just begins to reflect whatever the platform's algorithm's internal biases are. So on YouTube, people chase the latest trending topic in their niche and the algorithm rewards their diligence. On Google, every website is search engine optimized with special headers and tags. In film, the scripts that get approved are either Netflix levels of random, or approved by basically the same shitty algorithm as the one from the Space Jam sequel. And like always, music will be ranked against a statistics model based on what humans typically subconsciously like to listen to. Wait, what? Yeah, this isn't even a new practice. Song ranking algorithms have been around for a long while, and for my example, in the book, The Power of Habit, a bestseller about how you can form and shape human habits, the author talks about a song ranking algorithm from 2003 called Hit Song Science that used consumer data to rank the general public's perception of a song before releasing it. When they tried it on Hey Ya, it recognized the song as a bop, but after releasing it to the radio public it didn't catch on because, and I quote, "The problem was that Hey Ya wasn't familiar to the listener, and it wasn't until the radio started playing songs in the right order, by playing songs that everyone likes before and after, they could convince everyone else to like the song that they previously also taught them to dislike." The author goes on to explain how you can use that to affect your own habits, but if you read between the lines a little you realize that the media has been openly controlling what you like and listen to for a while now. It's only natural that an AI would step in and take over. But that's just an AI's opinion. Thanks for watching. And special thanks to Mr. Sweet for his help on this video, so make sure to check out his videos, especially the one that I'm in. Next week I'm proving that general purpose AI is already here and aware, so make sure to sub and bell to be there when it drops. Bye humans.